We should be live here. Hi, everyone. Just making sure, as I usually do, that we're live. And there we are. Excellent. Hello, everyone. My name is Allison. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the executive director of the Gallatin County Democrats. I am honored tonight to be joined for our legislative updates with Senator Chris Pope from Senate District 31. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Allison. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we're so grateful for everyone's time each week. We're doing this Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30. And so my first question, and this is going to turn into my first question for everyone, what are the bills in your committees that we should be paying attention to?
Well, thank you. And I just want to mention that it's an exciting time to be here. It's Inauguration Eve.
That's true.
We need to recognize where we are in time.
Oh,
it hasn't taken a long time to get here.
Yes.
So excited by that, and I know everybody is. So anyway, thanks for having me. I'm in Bozeman, and I've become quite good. It's a fairly thin layer of good on doing the Zoom thing, and I've got my little camera and my lights, and I'm feeling quite sophisticated until something happens. My cat jumps up and grabs a power cord. But everything's well. I've been 12 days in. I'm on 3 different committees. Energy and telecommunications is one. I'm on business and labor, and I'm on one that's called local government. And quite honestly, at this point of the session, I have 2 committees that have turned off one of their meetings this week. In other words, we're still sort of coming along. The bills are coming out of committees slowly, but slowly but surely we're getting more and more busy. Yesterday we had a bill that is now on its way to the House. That is the enabling legislation for Governor Gianforte's announcement that he's going to remove the mask requirement. And so I spent my whole day yesterday fighting Senate Bill 65. And unfortunately it passed 34 to 16, something like that. And it's on its way to the House, which strips away protections for consumers and employees and gives those protections to businesses as it relates to COVID. And as it relates to future requirements of wearing masks and being vaccinated, it removes the requirement that businesses stay on the cutting edge of protecting employees and consumers. It was a disturbing bill to lose. But I will, I just for fun, I thought I might just identify some of the initiatives, not always in my committees, but in the next few days, just for everybody listening, just to give you a sense of what this has been like, but where it's going. And I think it'll tell a story. If you don't mind, I'm going to reference a sheet I have here, and I'm going to go quickly. And Allison, we can talk about any of these things. But
this is great.
In my view, is just to give everybody a picture of, oh my gosh, what's happening here.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning in Senate Judiciary is our concealed carry bill. It would allow concealed guns in schools, on campuses, and in public buildings during commission meetings and during our legislative meetings. I've gotten tons of emails on that, concern about concealed carry. And by the way, that's in our Constitution. It's disallowed specifically in our Constitution, Article 2, line 12, I believe. Anyway, anyone can look it up.
We'll reference that in our post when we.
There we go. I better get that reference right. Tomorrow afternoon, Senate Bill 82, or let's see, also in the morning, pardon me, is to allow the majority party to break a vote in the Rules Committee, and it's very wonky. But what that would do is upset the apple cart, where the majority party would basically be able to call the rules every single time. And we are trying to keep a level playing field so that good ideas keep coming forward, and majority parties, whichever party that might be in a given session, don't get to trump, to use a bad term, how the rules are drawn up. I'm going to go a little faster here. Tomorrow in the afternoon in Senate Public Health and Welfare, there's a bill that would require local government approval of local health board decisions, and would strip the health boards our wonderful health board here in Gallant Valley, from regulating quarantines or protecting the public from communicable disease. That's a bill tomorrow afternoon. There's a bill to substantially increase ID requirements for welfare recipients. I mean, to the point of harassment, in my view. There's a proposed change to subdivision law, which is something that Bozeman really depends on tremendously, is maintaining the quality of our land planning. And there's an attack coming on subdivision review in local government. That's my committee tomorrow afternoon. Fish and Game on Thursday at 3:00, Senate Bill 115. Senate Regier will require a land board to have to approve easements. Steve Bullock, our governor, fought that in the Montana Supreme Court and won the ruling that a governor can go ahead and create a large easement to protect land and to help the owner families and to help them protect critters. But that's going to become politicized. I kind of could go on, and Senate Bill 98 on Thursday afternoon, if people are interested in the grizzly bear, there's going to be a bill that says that the legislature of Montana finds that grizzly bears should be delisted and would decriminalize the killing of grizzlies. There's a bill in Thursday calling for the Convention of States to rewrite the Constitution, and God knows, most of us are scared to death about that idea. Tomorrow there's on the House side, there's 2 abortion bills that are just, I mean, I've sat through those in the last session, and you go home after those meetings, and you just want to go to bed. It's so we are dealing with, on Friday, a bill to attack unions' ability to collectively bargain.
Right.
This is all just 1 week.
Yep. Yeah.
So this is like an avalanche coming at us. And on the Senate side, we have 19 votes out of 50. And on the House side, we have 33 votes out of 100. So you can do the math. I think, I'm hoping that concealed carry bill might be shut down.
In the Senate?
On the House side tomorrow, Senate Judiciary tomorrow. I'm not sure we can do it, but I think that there's enough people with a head on their shoulders to know how really seriously bad that would be for our state. Anyway, so that was meant to just give a quick sort of snapshot, say.
Right.
And I think we're all running about as hard as we can, mostly in a defensive posture. I am bringing some bills, Allison. I could speak to those.
Yeah, tell us about some good bills.
Yeah, so we're doing some good things, and the Dems are, we don't have the votes, so we don't have the horsepower to push stuff through. We do have a voice, and we have a terrific staff on the Senate side. We have 4 staff members, and each one of them come from a communications background, press relations, public communications, and several who have extensive knowledge about how the legislature works.
Great.
so we're going to be speaking it up, and that's really our starting point. And I'm still getting used to it because it feels like a lot of PR, but it's very important that we keep on discussing and talking about the values that we all care about. Mm-hmm. And so in any case, I'm working on a bill for kids with special needs to have 2 more years in high school to get their diploma. And that has a whole series of important storylines to it, having to do with a young man or woman student, high school student, being able to, follow their dreams, and for their families to be able to celebrate their child following their dreams. And these are young men and women from Montana who are joining the workforce and finding assisted or even independent living. And really, we live in a world in 2021 where these young men and women are going to outlast their parents. That's a generational thing. That was not the case 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because of advances in medicine. And these young men and women are capable of many things, and they're just as excited about the next day as we all are. And they're incredibly courageous, and I'm excited to be working with them. I will say that I've handed that bill, which I brought for 2 sessions. We got it through the House, and we haven't gotten through the Senate yet. So that's why I joined the Senate side. I've handed that bill to Fred Anderson, who's a wonderful Republican representative who will take the bill on the House side, and we need to make it a bipartisan effort. I'm bringing various bills for renewable energy. There's a whole new technology called smart meters that we can put on our homes, and we can tell our dishwasher to please turn on at 2 a.m. and save $2 washing the dishes or doing tasks in the house, water heaters and other things. That's coming. I'm bringing a bill for energy efficiency standards. We need to do more with less. We can save money, and we can become more modern, and we can save the climate, or save our incredible planet. That will be coming in the next week or 2. I'm working on bills to assist in community redevelopment, one piece of which would be a green bank for the state of Montana. The Biden administration is bringing, actually it's Kamala Harris's bill to bring a national green bank. And that green bank will be funded substantially in $30 billion, say, and each state will be setting up a way to receive dollars to do important work to bring these technologies, these clean technologies, into our communities. And I'm very excited about that. I'm not sure I can get that bill through. I'm also working with that bill for some redevelopment ideas for essentially a just transition for the coal communities. And in particular, I'm working with the Crow Reservation and a wonderful group of folks who are excited to build sustainable grassroots, sort of an institutional platform on which they can rebuild and rethink and innovate away perhaps from a coal past that has served them at times well and other times been difficult. And so at this point, we're trying to enable a process there. I'm bringing several bills on electric vehicles, and that's something that's coming fast, and I find it very exciting. It'll probably be disruptive, but it will significantly contribute to our ability to reduce emissions. And finally, let's see, I'm working with the city of Bozeman. I'm calling it a tax equity bill. I call it the Montana Tax Fairness Initiative, where we'll be asking tourists and other visitors to our wonderful community to please pay a percentage or two in a tax. Essentially, it's a sales tax idea. You don't want to use that phrase, but that's what it is. to help offset some of the costs that we incur to have those tourists in our town, and we invite them, and it's an exciting prospect for our economy to have them come here, but we need them to pay their way when it comes to infrastructure. And so I'm hopeful that we've tried twice. Mayor Cindy Andrus was up in Helena 2 years ago, and I think our presentation lasted 17 minutes. And then she got back into her car for an 1.5-hour drive home. We need to do better than that. And I'm hoping we're going to get a little more traction. But, you know, in this environment, I will say this, that every morning and every afternoon, it's a new calculation as to where the success might lie. It's probably going to be a business format. Namely that my kids with special needs who get a diploma in high school, the argument is that these kids are not going to be needing social welfare money quite as much because they are enabled. Sure. And frankly, I think we have a lot of different other reasons to be doing the same. But if it has to be a dollars and cents argument, we'll bring it.
Absolutely. And, yeah. So, good.
Well, so we have our hands full, Allison. But that's why I signed up.
Yes. Well, we're so grateful you did. And we're so grateful for that rundown, both the good and the bad coming. That's really helpful for me. I will tell you that I've been trying this afternoon to put a list together of all the bills that are up in committee that, you know, people should say yes to and all the ones that you should say no to. And so far, the list is definitely skewing one way for me. And so look for that update coming soon. But we do have a couple of questions that have popped up that I wanted to ask you. But the first one was about, came a little bit earlier today. Terry wanted to know, how can we make an economic and jobs argument against taxation of renewables?
So there will be a bill coming to the Senate side from Senator Dwayne Ankney. You know, he's from coal country. His community is Colstrip and Rosebud County. And I have a lot of respect for him. He's doing his job to protect his community and to protect the technology that has given his community vitality for a generation, since the mid 70s, early 80s. So, you know, fair enough. I'm choosing not to look in the rearview mirror and trying to work with Colstrip, bringing in a bill to help the Colstrip community in that transition. The bill that Senator Ankney would bring would tax wind power production. And so if you can imagine that the high likelihood, we have 5 gigawatts of electric power generation produced from wind sitting as projects that are queued up and haven't yet connected to our grid. They're not operating projects, they're projects in development. We currently in the state of Montana use somewhere around 1.7, 1.8 gigawatts of power. So this is 3 times what we even consume. A lot of that power would be export power. Those are jobs. That's lots of investment, billions of dollars of investment in our city, our city, but also to the east of us, out towards Billings, the whole strip. I call it the Colstrip tie line, which is a very large power set of power transmission lines that run from just north of us here, Townsend, all the way out to Colstrip, and there will be a lot of development there. So here's the idea. Our wind needs to be, is very, very desirable for the West Coast because it's produced in the afternoon at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The power in the Columbia River Gorge in the Northwest to the west of us is produced at 2 in the morning. I have a sort of conceptual framework for this where the wind comes through their part, and while we're sleeping, and it arrives on our doorstep at 2 in the afternoon, which is perfect for when the West Coast needs that power. But we have to transport that power substantially. And those costs so our power has to be cheap enough so that when it's delivered on the West Coast, it's still less expensive than the power they're producing over there. So I think we still have a terrific opportunity here. But we will be telling Senator Ankeny, don't sit on the golden egg, or what do you say? The golden goose is, whatever, don't chase the golden goose, whatever that
Whatever.
metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, we have a real opportunity here to put substantial amount of renewable energy that has no emissions, that's carbon free, and pump it into the West Coast and start to clean this planet up. And Mr. Ankeny, please, at least if you're going to tax wind, okay, but let's take away the oil and gas holiday taxes. So when you drill a well in the east part of our state, which is where the wind is blowing, by the way, as well, you're going to get a 2 or 3 year tax holiday that might save you $2 million a well. And that's a state discretionary. It's sort of like, please come to Montana and we'll start giving it away.
Yep.
Well, if we're going to do that, then let's do the same for wind, or let's come up with at least a fair playing ground, a level playing ground for this. And I'm ready. It breaks my heart that I have to go there, because actually what I'm really interested in doing is trying to help the Colstrip community. I do not want to be an antagonist. Right. But my fur stands up when I'm hearing that we're going to start trying to bury the wind prospect for Montana. We can be shipping a ton of clean energy and making a lot of wonderful, high-paying jobs. And frankly, there's already $2 billion worth of development going in within 100 miles of Billings, Montana, right this minute. So it's not a what if, it's happening. Right. And we need to try to keep a level head as to how we bring that forward. I believe that renewable energy should pay its fair way. I think sure. I think we should be helping schools and helping communities and just healthcare. Yes, but it should not be a penalty. And if we're going to start leveling the playing field, then by God, we're going to start changing the way that oil, gas, and coal has been taxed, which is almost a travesty.
Yeah, yes, it is. Well, thank you for going into that battle that's coming.
I don't think that really helped Commissioner Cunningham. I think what I'm saying is, just come up with a big drum and start pounding and yelling at the top of your voice. No,
right.
We need a little more finesse than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
there are arguments for how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I heard you say basically, like, let's not make it so expensive that the West Coast doesn't want to buy it.
Correct. That's number one. I mean, when we ship our power to the West Coast, it costs an extra 75 cents a kilowatt hour. So if you're selling your power for 6 or 7 cents, that turns into 15 or 20% of the cost. So we need to be careful not to, just be playing in our own sandbox. We need to be able to think a little bit bigger, a little more regionally, and then we'll actually be putting a lot of money into local governments and improving tax base and so forth.
Absolutely. That makes sense to me. So there's one other question. Well, there's a couple more, and we're not going to get to all of them since it's almost 6. Well, no, it's so good. I want to keep these short, and yet then I get to talk to you all and hear all these things, and it's so good. So that's why we record these. But there was a question, you did mention it, the Senate Bill 89, which is the union bill.
Yes.
That's coming up this Friday, I believe. And yes. Just what is your sense of it's a bill, is it going to pass? Is it not going, what are your thoughts on that one?
So it's, well, I have Senate on Friday, House bill.
Oh, okay.
Representative Mercer is bringing that, and it's an anti-union bill, period, straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I don't have the time of that hearing, but it's on Friday, and if needed, I could go find that and get that information so you can distribute that.
Yeah.
House Bill 168. Um, you know, we're talking about, public employees and teachers and all kinds of union jobs in the field, construction jobs. And I would hope that there will be an outcry to that idea. In the past, we've managed to shut it down, and I have to tell you, I don't have, and I should, but I don't have the most recent history. Our Governor Bullock, God bless him, was vetoing, almost 100 bills a session, and some of them were nutty, and they're coming back. I mean, this concealed carry bill tomorrow morning is one of them. Yep. I would hope that the sense is that this really cuts to the core of the way Montana and Montana's workforce has enjoyed the right for collective bargaining for 150 years. Yeah. And I would hope that that cooler heads prevail. There is nothing that collective bargaining does except to improve workplace conditions, to create prevailing wage and living wage, to create middle income families in Montana. And I think it's it's just heartbreaking that we're seeing this, and it's repeated. It's every time. So I can't say that I have a crystal ball on this one, Allison. I think that there's a significant threat to our ability as a state to support our unions. And if there ever was a better time, for those who are right to workers and want to kill the union movement, frankly, this is going to be the time. We have a trifecta: the governor and the legislature and our attorney general. I mean, we are basically up against the wall. Yeah. And I have said this, and it's with tears in my eyes, that unfortunately the Montana voting public is going to have to learn in a firsthand manner what it means to vote the people in that they've voted in. And there's going to be some china broken here, and it's going to break hearts. It's going to break my heart 20 times. And I hope I'm wrong. That's all I can say. And we are in the trenches, and we will fight that. It'll come to my Business and Labor Committee probably next week or the week following. We will be fighting that tooth and nail. And but we don't have the votes.
Yeah.
And so it's a very delicate balancing act. On the one hand, you want to just start throwing, pencils. On the other hand, you're looking to across the aisle and to try and stay that cool head and say, look, come on, let's just square with this. The union economy is significant, and the value add is huge, and these families are doing well, and this is something we should be growing, not diminishing. So we need to find a more persuasive place in our hearts, and see if we can reason our way through this. It's a very, very precarious place to be, though. It really is. And it breaks my heart because I know we're going to lose some of these, and we're just going to pay the price, and then we'll see what happens in the next election. And, to everybody who's on, I don't need to be saying this, but Allison is a hero for rallying the troops. It's true. So, we're going to have to do it again, though, Allison, all that work. Yes. Once again, roll it on out. But yes. It's going to be a long couple of years right now, folks. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
We will, and we will support you and all the other Democrats with submitting comments. I know that A lot of people have been engaged in the legislative process this time around already, and it's only day 12. I am grateful for everyone who is, taking the time to submit their comments online or call the info desk and share their messages, send you all emails, and then especially those of you who are testifying in the committees. I actually got to do that for the first time this week. I wish I didn't have to, but I did. And I'm really glad that I could. And if you can, please do. It really gives you a sense of purpose and a sense of direction to be able to share your story in front of a committee if you're willing to do that. And we'll share more about how you do that, and hopefully inspire some of you to submit comments and testify in front of these good and bad bills that we're all drowning under. And again, it's only day 12.
Public,
um
public testimony is key.
it
And
is.
listen
Yeah,
really hard.
yeah,
When
yeah.
someone takes the time and the effort to stand up, and sometimes it's a Zoom, other
Yep.
times it's in person, but I'll tell you what, it's very, very meaningful to hear those voices. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, right now, it is very easy to testify on Zoom. You just need to request to do that in the committee the day before by noon. So for this, so for hearings that are on Thursday and Friday of this week, you need to submit that request by tomorrow at noon. And then they send you the Zoom link. You show up at the committee hearing, get to listen to it all. I was doing other things while I was listening to the committee hearing, and then they call your name and you're up, and it's a couple minutes, and then you can move on with your, well, maybe not move on, but like you've done your civic duty at that point, and that like makes me feel good. So
Sitting in your kitchen or your living room or
yep,
your
yep,
office, and you know what, it's a lot less stressful than actually being up there in front of a microphone. There is a calming aspect to it.
absolutely,
But again, I
absolutely.
want to thank you, Allison, and everybody who has worked so hard for those of us who have managed to get into office. And we're here for you. I'm going to leave my phone number, 406 581 8739. It's my cell. I carry it with me everywhere, and anyone can call. And I look forward to those conversations, and just keep the fires lit.
Absolutely. We've got your back. You've got ours. We're so grateful for you, Senator Pope. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Please stay healthy, stay well. Thank you.
I'll do.
All right. See ya.
See ya.